Rev up your engines! Don't poo-poo a Nissan Pathfinder. Now I know people are going to say, Scotty, you're a hypocrite. You said you hate Nissan products. Not these Pathfinders. And you might say, well, Scotty, it's got an automatic transmission made by Jatco. And you always said Jatco transmissions are garbage. Well, the front-wheel drive ones are, but this is a rear-wheel drive vehicle. Same as this Nissan 350Z. Their rear-wheel drive transmissions are relatively bulletproof. It's the front-wheel drive ones that go out. Now, to give you the history of this particular Pathfinder, and the reason that I say, hey, they're great used vehicles, is because they can go a long time, and used, you can often get a very good price. Take this one. Inside, the owner purchased this used 9 years ago with 100,000 miles. Check the odometer, it now has 247,000 miles. And when we start it up, starts right up. Sure, there's all kinds of warning lights on, but that's Nissans for you. A lot of the stuff you're not even going to care about. I'm going to analyze it all, but let's go under the hood first. Here we have a big 4-liter V6. Still sounds good. It kind of smells when we go down here because there's oil leaking from the valve cover gasket. I even had to replace my Toyota and Lexus valve cover gaskets before 247,000 miles, so they lasted quite some time. The parts are going to cost you 30 bucks. You got to take a bunch of nonsense off, but anybody with regular hand tools can do it. Nissan's been building these V6 engines for a long time. And sure, it's a heavy vehicle, so it doesn't get good gas mileage. Even on a highway, lucky if you push 19 miles a gallon in the thing. But that's not what these are for. This is 247,000 miles of pretty reliable driving. And you might think, okay, so he spent a fortune fixing the thing between 100,000 and 240,000. He's still got the original water pump on this thing. He did brakes, fan belts, regular oil changes and stuff, but that's it. These can be very dependable vehicles. As long as you don't care about gas mileage, this is not a car to shy away from. It has ample towing capacity, can tow 6,000 pounds easily, and it's got an ample, though creaking, trunk to put stuff in. And as you can see, a lot of seat room too inside. You can flip them down, turn it into a giant wagon. These are very handy. Maybe dated a little, being DVD players. And this one even has a 3rd row seat. There's decent space there. I mean, you're not going to be putting Hulk Hogan in there, but and they even get a window to look out of too. They're not stuck behind a pillar. Now, physically, it checks out okay, so let's get out the old computer, see what's going on inside. Oh, it's scanning the vehicle. Turn the key on and off. Here we go. Usual enhanced vehicle scan. It's not going to miss anything. Found one problem so far. Over 3 in the engine. Tire pressure monitoring system. I knew that because the light's on there for it. There's the light for the tire pressure monitoring system. Most people don't care about them when they're this old. Take your time when you're analyzing stuff. This might take a good 10-15 minutes to run all the tests. But I love it because it would take me 10 to 15 hours or more to do all these tests myself. That's the advantage of computers checking computerized systems. They do it right. They do it fast, then you can analyze the data. You still need a guy like me, because you're going to get a bunch of codes on these old things. You always say it's got all these codes, a pile of junk. No, it isn't. It runs perfectly fine. We're just going to get a good overall perspective of what shape the vehicle is in. Tire pressure monitoring system. It doesn't work. Big deal. You get a tire gauge for 10 bucks. Check your own tire pressure. Now, this particular vehicle has a whole bunch of problems with the readiness monitor tests for mode 1. That's why the service engine light is on. This vehicle would not pass emissions testing because of it. So if you live in an area where you got to get your car's emission tested, these Pathfinders, they get old, they get real expensive. But being here in Clarksville, Tennessee, the owner is a soldier. He doesn't live in Nashville where they do emissions testing. He doesn't care. He doesn't need an emission test. But as I said, if you live in an area where it needs emission testing, you probably would want to stay away from these older Pathfinders because you can spend a fortune spending money to get them to pass those tests to have no check engine lights on. Other than stuff we don't care about, it's got 11 trouble codes. Let's look at them all. Vehicle speed circuit. That's one of the reasons that the tire pressure monitoring light is on. 3 codes for the engine, so let's see what they are. We got P1148, 430, and 133, meaning that there's a problem with the closed loop system, oxygen sensors, and the catalytic converters. This is something you see in Nissans all the time. As they age, they often need catalytic converters replaced so they can pass the emissions test. If I was back in Houston, this thing would never pass the yearly emissions test. Like I say, this is Clarksville, they don't test them, so you don't care. If you lived in Houston, you got to buy a couple of cats for this thing. It's going to cost you a lot of money. Here, runs perfectly fine, no problem at all. So you live with it. Airbag, ABS, doesn't have codes. The only thing is that meter code, which shows that there's a problem in the speedometer system, but who cares? The owner tells me the speedometer works perfectly fine, so who cares about that technical nonsense? So let's take it for a ride. Now the first thing you'll notice, you put it in gear, it may have 247,000 miles. It doesn't shake at all. Very smooth engine. And as you can see, you got a nice high view of things here. You are high up in the air. These vehicles give you a lot of security, and you're not gonna have to worry about floodwaters. Even though it's got 247,000 miles on it, you can barely even feel that transmission shifting. These rear-wheel drive Jatco transmissions work perfectly fine for a long time. They're nothing like those horrible front-wheel drive jobs that Nissan makes. Or I should say Jatco. Nissan owns Jatco. It's their fault that they're not making them any good. But these rear-wheel drive ones, another story entirely. Handles quite good in the twisties for a big, tall, 4-wheel drive vehicle. And let's see, is it a turd or not? And now we'll floor it. This thing has some get up and go to it. It does have a Nissan V6 engine. It is not a slouch mobile. And you feel those smooth shifts too. I have to say I'm impressed by a vehicle with 247,000 miles that still runs like this and was made by Nissan. Yes, Nissan. I'm not making this up. This is not a Toyota. And driving at highway speeds is still a pretty quiet vehicle. I'm surprised by this thing. So now you know the truth about Nissan Pathfinders. How they can be a great used SUV. You can get a great price on, even though they're a Nissan, and even though they have Jatco transmissions, because one size doesn't fit all. And getting a great deal on a 4-door SUV with 3-row seating, not that easy to do today. Now, I've been giving you free car advice for years. Well, I'm also going to give you free tools now. I'm giving away this cool little jump starter you can put in your trunk and jump start your car if need be. To have a chance to win, just place a clean, non-offensive comment on the YouTube comments below, and a winner will be chosen randomly by computer to get a great little free jump starter, case included. And here's some bonus questions and answers. JJ says, first time here, I found out about you. I come from a non-English speaking European country. I'm looking for a 97 to 2001 Acura NSX with pop-up headlights, 3.2 engine, and a 6-speed gearbox. I'm having a hard time finding one, and less than 70,000 miles with no accidents. They're excellent vehicles, but they're becoming more and more popular in collectors. You're just going to have to really be looking a lot, and you're probably going to have to widen your horizons there. Finding one that has less than 80,000 miles on is going to be hard enough, and then you want to spend less than 70 grand, and they're becoming such collector's items. And one that was accident-free, they're very fast cars. All the ones that I've seen have been in some type of accidents because they drive so fast, and eventually somebody hits something because they're driving it so fast. There are excellent vehicles, but understand they're only worth a certain amount of money when they're really high mileage, so you can get a better deal. But you're looking for a cream of the crop one, and you're talking about what? A 20-year-old vehicle that's got less than 80,000 miles. Good luck finding one. Now, you probably find one, but they're probably going to ask more money. But then again, the economy's kind of with coronavirus, especially in Europe from what I see, so it might be a good time to start looking and buying one. And of course, look worldwide. Look in the United States, look over. Somebody's probably got one that needs some money that they'll sell it to you. You're going to have to be a little more open-minded. You're probably going to find one's been in an accident, so here or there, fender bender, bumpers replaced, whatever. Everyone I've seen had at least a bumper or a fender replaced when I checked it out for a customer who's going to buy one. Carcat234 says, Scotty, big fan. I got a 2014 Chevy Cruze diesel, 2-liter turbo, 200,000 miles. It runs great. When I get to operating temperature, the gauge slowly fluctuates down towards the sea after I drive a while. It only happens. I've never seen it before. I'm thinking it's a sensor. Definitely replace the temperature sensor. It's probably that going bad. But it's winter. It's cold outside. If the sensor actually works. That would mean your thermostat's stuck open. Replace the thermostat because it's so cold out. If your thermostat sticks open and you're driving and the wind's blowing and it's cold outside, it'll go down towards the sea. It could just be the thermostat too. I'd do that first because that's easy to do. And that fixed it great. And then if not, I would change the temperature sending unit and that should fix it. Unless there was a problem with either the wiring or the computer, but normally it's just the sending unit. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.